If am I wrong? Can I group this?
Does that say plus 4x? Here, let me write it because I
Yeah,
got a
that's
better.
that's 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 supposed to say plus 4x, but
Okay.
iPads
No,
don't
that's fine.
work well.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. Yep. So if you grouped it, yeah, because what
Oh,
you
that's
could
supposed to
do
say 12x, sorry, on the end.
4x and 12x. Oh,
Yes.
x squared and 12x.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So what you're going to want to do is take these two, group them, and these
and
two
then
and
the
group them.
back two. So that would end up getting x to the
Hmm.
third, parenthesis x minus 3, and then 4x, and then parenthesis x minus 3 again. So
Four. Yep.
then it would be 3x plus 4x, and then in another parenthesis x minus 3, right?
You got it. Good. So I
And then
can
I'm
take
not
the
sure what to
x
do with the
minus
x
3
to the
out
third there.
and the x cubed plus 4x out. Well, you could have taken an x out of all of them at the very beginning, but it's okay. You
Oh,
can take it out of these now. So really what you have is an x and an x minus 3 and an x squared plus 4. And so if you're trying to find all of your zeros are going to be x. If you're trying to find out what the zeros are, is that what they want you to do? Or do they
it
just want you
says
to
just
factor?
sketch the graph. So yeah, after this, I have to put it on a graph.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
your
we should be
so
finding the
your x
zeros.
intercepts would be 0, 3, and then these ones would be um, plus and minus 2i, which don't show up on the graph, right?
Yeah, I think she'll probably want me to show that though first. So I'm just
Yeah, she's
gonna.
probably going to want that at some point. One, two, three. So there are your two zeros. And you know that it opens up from left to right. And you know that it goes through each of those zeros, right? So I'm sorry, because let me start over. Because it's the fourth power and it's a positive leading coefficient, you know your end behavior is up and up.
Yeah.
And you know it goes through. The one thing you really don't know is where the extra hump is. It could be below it or it could be above it on either side of it. You don't
Well,
really
it
know.
just says to sketch it. So yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
make an
So
estimation.
sketching it, you can go like maybe something like that. That wasn't great. Let's try that again. Something like that. Now, it might also be helpful to find some other points in there, but you know it doesn't touch the x-intercept anymore, the x-axis anymore. And actually, that's probably all you have to do for this, to be honest with you. But certainly, that sketch is not going to be very accurate, except for the zeros and the end behavior, right?
Yeah, I think all she wants is to sketch though, I hope.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
because
just says sketch.
it could have been like this. That could have been the graph. More likely, it would be something like that, or it could have been something like this, where it goes through here, comes up, and then does something like that. Lots of things it could have done, but you know it's got to touch the x-axis twice. You know it has to go through the x-axis, not bounce off of it. Do you understand why?
Yes.
And you also know the end behavior, the left end behavior and the right end behavior are both up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You got another one for me? You want to just say it to me? I'll write it out.
Sure. The next one. All right, these ones are entirely graphs, so I'm just gonna skip to the next one. Says given given f of x is 3x to the fifth plus 2x to the fourth minus 15x to the third minus 10x to the second, or just squared or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
plus 12x plus 8.
Okay.
That's it. Yes, it's a long equation.
And what do they want you to do?
It says A is what is the end behavior of the function. That's just it goes for as x goes on to infinity, f of x goes to infinity, and then as it goes to negative infinity, it goes to negative infinity, right?
Good. Yep. Yep.
All right, and then find the exact zeros of the equation.
Okay, so the exact zeros of the equation, and they don't want to use your graphing calculator?
This is a non-calc for part.
Okay, so the first thing I would do if I were you is I would have you learned the P over Q thing?
Um,
So all if
Maybe.
they're the zeros have to be in the form of P over Q, where P are factors of eight. So eight plus or minus eight plus or minus four plus or minus two plus or minus one. And the Q are the
Oh,
factors of
yes.
the
So
leading
that would just be
coefficient.
1 and 3.
Yeah. So what I would do if I were you is I would just test really quick, plug in one in all these and see if that gives you zero. That's the
So
easiest
you
thing to
want
do.
you want me to do synthetic division?
Well, no, not yet. I want you just to plug in the easiest ones. Plug in one and see if that gives you a zero. So
All
plug
right,
in one,
hang
what
on.
would you get? Three, no, do in your head. Three plus two minus 15 minus 10 plus 12 plus eight. So
Um,
that's negative 35 and positive 25. Oh, sorry, negative 25 and positive 25. Yep, that worked. So one is one of your zeros. You get what I'm saying?
I think so, yes. Although I don't think we
And
call it the P and Q thing.
and since we did that, now we can use synthetic division, and now we know which one to try. We're gonna use one because we know we're gonna get zero at the end. So bring the three down. You good with synthetic division? Add,
Uh,
multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. And there we go. So here's our second term, our second one, right? Now we're going to do synthetic division again, and let's hope one works again. No, one doesn't work because if I just add these things together, add all these things together, it doesn't equal zero. But remember, this is kind of like saying 3x to the fourth plus 5x cubed minus 10x squared minus 20x minus 8. What happens if I plug in negative 1? If I plug in negative 1, does it work to all these
uh,
things? This would be positive 3. This would be negative 5. This would be negative 10. This would be positive 20. And this would be negative 8. Did we get lucky again? 23. Oh, I think we did because positive 23 and negative 23. I think negative 1 works. We got lucky. So plug in negative 1 to this one, and guess what you're going to get here? You're going to get a zero again. Am I going too fast, or you following what I'm saying?
uh, I need a little bit of time to catch up. I was kind of still writing.
Okay. Oh shoot, did I lose you? I keep accidentally pushing the button. Can you see me still?
I
You here?
can like see your picture.
Yeah, my
I
picture. Okay. Sorry, I accidentally pushed the side button and it turned it off. All right, so I'm going to do synthetic division again. Okay. So let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay, I'm still streaming. So bring the three down, multiply, negative three, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, and add. So notice again, I got the zero like I said I was going to get.
Yes, and then I have to do that another time, right?
Now again, what do I have? Well, what I have now is 3x to the third
Mm-hmm.
plus 2x squared minus 12x minus 8. And that's
8.
easier to deal with. And again, what's it going to be? It's going to be um, plugging in values. What if I don't have to try one because I know it didn't work in the last one? I could maybe try negative one again, see if negative one works again. 12. I don't think negative one will work because that's going to be positive 12. And yeah, no, will negative one work? Let's see. Negative 3 plus 2 plus 12 minus 8. No, that doesn't work. So -1 doesn't work. So let's try something else. So now let's try, I shouldn't have erased that whole thing. Now let's try those other things, right? Let's try 2, right? Let's try 2. You see 2 up there. You see 4. You see 8 or -8. You can also do 1/3 or 2/3 or 4/3. You can do any of those things. So let's try the simpler ones. And again, you could do synthetic division if you want, but in my opinion, sometimes it's easier just to plug it in your head in the problem. You get what I'm talking about? So let's try plugging in.
Yes.
Let's try plugging in 2 for all the x's, because all we're trying to do is find out when it equals 0, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what values can I plug in for x to get 0? So if I plug 2 in for all of my x's, what would I get? I get 2 cubed, which is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. 2 squared, which is 4 plus, or times 2 is 8. -12 times 2 is -24. And -8, hey, look at that. It worked. Because that cancels with that, that cancels with that, and I get 0. Now, again, you can do synthetic division if you want, but a lot of times it's easier just to plug it in your head in the original problem and then use synthetic division to break it down to a smaller number. So what did I know worked? 2. So when I bring 3 down, I multiply, 6, add, multiply, add, that's +4, multiply, add. Hey, look at that. And what's the best news about what I just did?
Just
3x squared plus 8x plus 4 is a what?
trinomial.
Yeah, it's a quadratic trinomial. So we can try to factor, which we can do much easier now, or we can use the quadratic formula if we wanted to. So let's see if factoring
It's
works.
pretty easily factored. I already did it.
Oh, look at you. 3x and x, 1 and 4, 2 and 2,
It's
2 and
2 and
2.
2, yeah.
Hey, so -2 is also a factor. And what else?
Uh,
-2/3. So what are my zeros? 1, -1, 2, -2, and -2/3. Those are all of my zeros. And so if I wanted to graph it, that could be done much easier now because we know what the end behavior does. It's up to the right, down to the left. And we know it goes through -1, -2, +1, or sorry, -1, -2, and -2/3, which is just right of -1, right? +1. You know what? I'm going to redo this because everything's too close. Let's try this. Let's make 1 here and 2 here. Sorry, -1, -1. There we go. So there's 1, there's 1, there's 1 there, there's 1 here, and there's 1 here. And the end behavior is as we've discussed. So you know it has to go up, come down, go back up again, come down, go back up again, like so. And again, it can look much different, but that's how it's got to be. That's what the end behavior has to look like and what the intercepts have to look like.
all
Good?
right. Yeah, I'm just not really sure how you would find like exactly where to put the 2/3. Would you just like guesstimate where that is?
Yeah, just guesstimate. You know, it's 2/3 of the way between 0 and -1. So just roughly put it
Try to
somewhere in
find the
there.
closest place you can.
Yeah. Remember, you're just sketching in these. So your teacher doesn't expect it to be perfect. Do you want to try? Do we have time for maybe one more, real quick one, or feel like that's good?
Sure. Just gonna finish this. Just gonna finish graphing this one.
All right, it'll have to be a speed one because I got someone else coming in soon.
All right. What did you get for the last graph again?
Right there.
All right, I got something like that. I just kind of spread it out a bit more.
Yeah, it doesn't. Again, it's you're just sketching it. So, what's your last equation?
Um, It's pretty much the same thing, but different equation. All right, so
Okay.
this one's f of x equals x minus 4 minus 6x squared minus
X minus
8x.
4, wait, huh?
Oh, no, sorry. X to the fourth.
Oh,
Sorry, I can't think.
I was like, what? X to the fourth minus 6x cubed
Squared.
squared.
Yeah, they skipped
Yep.
a power.
Plus or minus.
Minus 8x plus
Ooh,
24.
okay. So now this is tricky because they skipped one. So you have to make sure you hold the place when you're doing long division and stuff like that, or
And
synthetic
then
division,
it goes up on both sides, right?
right? Up on both sides. So again, let's try to find one by just plugging in a nice number like one. Does one work? If I plugged in one, I would get 25 as a positive, and I would get negative 14. So that doesn't work. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think so.
If I plugged in one for all of my x's, I would get 1 minus 6 minus 8 plus 24, which does not equal 0. So I know one doesn't work. Let's try two. Let's see if two works. If I plug in two, 2 to the fourth is 16. 2 squared is 4. That's going to work. 2 squared is 4 times 6 is 24. 8 times 2 is negative 16. And oh, no, that's not going to work. Yeah, it is going to work. Plus 24. So the negatives and the positives outweigh each other. Negative 24, positive 24, positive 16, negative 16. So that works. So 2 is one of my answers. See how I did that?
Yes.
So let's hold the place with 0. That's the key there. See how I put a 0 in there?
Yes.
Don't forget to do that. Bring the 1 down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, and I got a 0, which is what I should have gotten. So that means I've got x to the third plus 2x squared minus 2x minus 12. Well, we already tried
Oof.
1, that didn't work, so it still won't work. We could try 2 again. Let's see if 2 works twice. 2 cubed is 8. 2 cubed is 8. 2 times 4, negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 12. Hey, look at that. It worked again. Somehow I just knew there was going to be multiplicity 2. So now we're going to do 2 again. Bring the 1 down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. And there we go. X squared plus 4x plus 6. Let's see if that factors again. That would be x. But it doesn't factor, does it? So that means I've got to find the other zeros by using quadratic formula if they exist. So the other zeros are negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So you can see that they're, because that's negative, you can see that they're imaginary. So there's only two real zeros, and the other ones are imaginary, and it's a double zero at 2.
All
You
right.
got what I'm saying?
Think she still wants me to find them because it says find the exact zeros of the equation.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, then even the complex zeros.
It just says find the exact zeros, so I think so.
Okay, so plus or minus the square root of negative 8 all over 2. So that just would be negative 4 plus or minus 2i root 2 all over 2. So the 2's cancel here, here, and here. It's negative 2 plus or minus I root 2. So there are your other two zeros. But on my graph, it goes 2 is the only zero, and it's double root, multiplicity 2, right? Which means it's going to bounce, and you know it goes on the ends. So it's going to be something like this. Bounce. It'll be something like that.
But what'd you get for the imaginary solution again?
Negative 2 plus or minus I root 2. Hi, Noah. How you doing, bud?
Good, how are you?
Good. You want to start writing your questions over on the right somewhere on this?
Sure.
Vincent, you good, bud?
Yeah, I think that's it. All right.
All right.
See you later.
Yeah, see you, man.